Hello, this is Nikita from Plumsail team, and today I'll show you how you can use JavaScript with our public web forms. You can find a lot of examples in our JavaScript documentation. For example, our manage fields article will show you how to populate field values, handle field change, disable fields, hide them, and do much more. Of course, you can find more information in other sections of our documentation. For example, in containers, controls, and fields, you can find relevant items and their JavaScript samples. I'll show you how to use that JavaScript in the designer. Let's make a simple web form. I'm just going to add a few fields to it. Namely, I'm going to add two text fields, one phone field and one node field. And I'm going to call my first text field phone. My second text field I will call email, and my third field will be phone, and my last field is going to be comment. With that out of the way, I'm going to save the form and I'm going to call it example JavaScript form. Going to save it, and I'm going to open the preview. In preview mode, you can test a lot of JavaScript by opening console, selecting the form in context, and using our JavaScript framework. FD field value will allow you to set value or even get the value for different fields. And you can test examples here. It's very useful before you run it from the JavaScript editor. And speaking of the editor, let's go to the editor. You can find examples here, but they are all commented out. Let's remove them and let's write our own code. I'm going to write fd rendered event, which runs every time the form is rendered, and we are going to run our code inside this event. So once the form is rendered, we're going to set the value of the name field to, well, let's say Bain Williamson as an example. Okay, let's save the form. Let's open it in preview mode. And here we have Bain Williamson in our name field. And we are not limited to just one line. We can write as many as necessary. For example, I can also set the email to something else. Let it be bwilliamson at mail.com, for example. Yeah, that will do. Let's save the form, refresh the page, and that's what we get. Now, we are not limited to static values. We can also get it from somewhere else. For example, we can retrieve values from URL parameters. For that, we are going to declare params variable, make it new URL search params from window location search, and if there are any parameters, we can find them. For example, params get name will get us name, and if there are none, let's just call it Jane Doe. Okay, we can do the same for the email field. JDoe as default, and if we have email. Now this will not run in preview. Instead, we are opening the for URL on a sharing page. You can see Jane Doe is here, but if we specify the URL params inside of our URL, we'll populate these fields on our form. And you can do the same for the users whom you send your form, your URL to, so they'll populate some fields on the form. Now let's do something more interesting. I'm going to add a checkbox called need a call, and I'm going to use it to show and hide the phone field. For that, well, I'm going to write a function show hide phone, and I'm going to check if need a call has value, and if it does, then I'm going to just copy the name of the field. If it does have a value, I'm going to show the phone field, FD field, phone, hidden, false, and required, true. So if need a call, then the phone field is visible and it's required, and else the phone field is hidden and it's not required. Very simple, but we need to run it first. We will run it when need a call changes. So need a call on change, we need to run this function, and that's enough to run the function when it changes. We also need to show hide phone when the form is refreshed, when rendered, right? We need to run this once more. So when we click on need a call, the phone field is visible and is made required, and if we refresh the page, if need a call is selected, phone is still visible and still required. That's pretty much it. Now let me show you how you can add validation to your form. The easiest way to do so is by adding a validator to a field. So, well, we already have an email field. Let's say we want to validate it and make sure that the company email is used in this field. So we're going to run FD field email add validator. You see I'm writing a new FD rendered event. I can put it inside the previous event, I can write it in a separate section, it doesn't really matter. If you have a lot of code, it makes sense to split parts into different blocks. So if you have a mistake or an error in one of them, the other blocks will continue running. So it's up to you, right? Just make sure that you don't put code which relies on each other in different blocks, but if they are separate in logic, we can write different block of FD rendered. And here I'm just writing a validator with company email validator with error only company emails are allowed, and I'm checking if mycompany.com is present in the URL and the email. So only company emails are allowed, so let me change mail.com to mycompany.com, and you see it runs just fine. But if I change it even a little bit, I cannot submit it, so it needs to be mycompany.com. And you can have validation of all sorts on your form, and even async validators are allowed, so you can run a request to your database, that's fine. Last but not least, let's say you don't want to write the code and you want to have tool assist you. We have an AI chat that can write the code for you. It's only available in van or track plans, but if you subscribe to one of these plans, you can just ask the chat to write the code for you. For example, here I'm asking it to write a different validator. So validator for the common field to prevent over 200 characters input, and I've added character count text control. So I want to display the length of the comment in the character count text control. And instead of writing the code myself, I'm just asking the AI to do it for me. And here you can see that's validator, and character count is updated. Here you can see it's getting populated as I'm typing in. And let's try to get over the limit. And as soon as I get over the limit, it gives me an error and I cannot submit the form. But if it's under 200, then it's fine. And that's how our AI chat works. Now, if you have any questions, ask our support team and check out our documentation. We have so many examples available for all the controls, all the fields. You can find what you seek. I'm 100% certain of that. And if you are not certain, go to our community or send us an email for support and we'll be happy to help. Now, this will be it for this video, but I would highly recommend for you to check out our public web forms. We have a free plan available for all of you users, and you can design a form and write your own JavaScript and see what you come up with. By signing up for pre-plan, you can start it today